Good morning. My name is John Lanham. I would like to welcome you to my first ever podcast entitled A Dog's Life. This will be about my spiritual journey, how I feel that has to be others out there looking for their purpose as well, and how I've come to find mine this far. We are coming from the front seat of my truck because I don't think I could speak my truth if I had someone else hold the camera while I did this. I always felt like a spiritual person. And growing up in a small town of a couple thousand people that was very Christian based, being spiritual was not taught, accepted, liked. Growing up, I felt immense pressure to be Christian, to be heterosexual, to be conforming to what most of society is. I spent into my 30s going back and forth between phases of conforming to society and then rebelling against society because that was not what I felt my meaning or purpose was. I've never been attracted to anyone by whether they were male or female. I have always been more attracted to masculine energy. It's always been about energy for me, which in a small town is not acceptable. I felt so bottled up that I didn't know how to let myself understand that I could have a purpose in this world, that there was more meant for me in my time on Earth than just helping my family or making a family. I think I started my real spiritual journey back around 2013 or 14. I was living in Kokomo, Indiana. I had met someone that was very intense, very into his personal development and growth. And I really blossomed. I was more prosperous than I'd ever been. I was more free to be myself than I had ever been. I was more of a blessing to others around me than I had ever been. At that point, I had really started listening to people like Simon Sinek, who has a beautiful, beautiful purpose if you've never heard of him. His purpose is his desire is for everyone to go to their job or their career or their purpose and really feel that they're loved and taken care of. I've probably watched 50 different podcasts of him, and what an exceptional man. Jim Rohn was also such a great inspiration to me. But Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, I listened to all of them and they inspired me at some point in my journey, but I never felt the hustle and grind style of motivation was what it was really all supposed to be about. I had a beautiful decade there, and about 10 years in, things just really started to fall apart. And putting the pieces together backwards, I realized that life had been trying to urge me to move on for a great time, that I had outgrown those around me. That doesn't make them bad or anything like that, but when you're on a journey, it just needs to continue going forward. And I was stagnant. And I got so stagnant, part of me knew that I was in the wrong place, that I needed to move on, but instead of listening, I drove myself into the ground. I threw it all away because I wasn't willing to listen to what my soul was telling me. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm the owner and creator of JDL Enterprises. If I had to categorize us if I had to categorize it on paper, we do construction, but I really believe that JDL Enterprises is my way of helping the collective forward. Recently, I had been working on a triplex for a gentleman here in the Lafayette area. And I was working on the basement apartment, and the lady that was supposed to be moving into it is 62. For the last 8 years, she had a partner. She had finally got to the place in her life that she picked someone to be with that didn't demoralize her or beat her down. She finally realized that she could be at peace in her soul. After 8 years together, and they were going to move into this apartment, in a 30-day span, he found out that his body was riddled with cancer. And 2 weeks later, he passed away. This lady who was already, even though she'd found peace in her soul at 62, still living paycheck to paycheck, the whole situation made her life crumble. I'm meeting her at the apartment today that she was supposed to move into. She's still not even paid all of the deposit, not paid any rent. And unbeknownst to the owner of the building, he is out of state at the moment on a personal situation. I'm going to give her the funds, not just to get herself moved in, but to get through her first 30 days. Let her feel at ease in her soul again. I'm intentionally not saying names or anything else because this is about what I believe that we are supposed to be for those around us. I don't believe or disbelieve in Christianity. I believe that we are all part of the same energy. We are just energy reborn, making itself better each time. I believe when you find your purpose, your life really, really comes together. I think my purpose hit me about a week ago. I was listening to a gentleman named David Bayer, Bayer. If you've never checked out any of his podcasts, what a phenomenal human being. What great inside, if you're really just looking to try to understand yourself, he is phenomenal. And I think my purpose by 2028, I am going to build a facility here in Tippecanoe County, Lafayette, Indiana, to shelter the homeless. I don't believe in ending homelessness, because to some people they believe taking help like that is integrating themselves back into society, and that's not what they're looking for. So I don't think we'll ever end homelessness. But my purpose is that for anyone out there in this area that is looking for a place to lay their head at night, for it to be available for them, for there not to be a waiting list. I think for those that really do want something more for their lives, having that basic need met, knowing that that's not something they have to search for or struggle for, that will be freely given to them. And when they have that struggle off of their shoulders, then they can finally start to rebuild and decide what their purpose is while they're here. I just want to be the good in the world, but before I could be that, I had to see the good in myself. I had to understand that as long as I'm not hurting others, that it's okay to be me, that I don't have to be Christian, I don't have to be tied to heterosexualness, I don't have to believe the same way that my parents did. I love my parents and I think they're phenomenal people. I just view life differently. This is going to be a weekly podcast. I am excited for the opportunities that will come to me. By happen chance, life brought into my path a lady about 2 weeks ago who had hired someone to remodel her kitchen. This is not a lady of great means or anything like that. She is just a single lady. She works a 9-to-5 job per se. And so this gentleman that she got through a big box department store, they recommended him. He started on her kitchen 4 months ago. When the first time I went to see it 2 weeks ago, she had given him $32,000 in labor. She had a kitchen full of cabinets that would not fit her space because they weren't ordered correctly. And she had a stove and a fridge sitting in the middle of it. That was her life. I am going with her this afternoon. We are going to order different cabinets that actually fit her space, that will work, that she will like. And I'm going to do this without taking from her financially, so that she can understand that she does not have to be afraid that everyone is going to take advantage of her. I'm going to wrap it up for this one. If you have comments, I would love to hear them. If you are on a spiritual journey as well, I would love to connect, would love to know, would love to understand. Please, please, please feel free to leave a comment, reach out to me. Thank you for listening. I'll see you the next time around.